joining us now with reaction. Author of the best-selling book, Treason. He has a new e-book out about the election of Donald Trump. He gave a speech on Trumpism today at the Heritage Foundation. Former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. How are you? Good to see you in the studio.
Great to be with you. It's fun to be up here.
It's great to have you. Look, the reason I'm laying this out, JFK worked. Reagan worked. And the reason I want you here is what you balanced the budget. Yeah. Nobody thought it was possible at the time.
Well, and we created tremendous economic growth, had the biggest capital gains tax cut in history, had the biggest improvement in children living in poverty in history, because if you really get the economy moving, it really helps across the board. I'm very optimistic because I'm watching President-elect Trump assemble a cabinet that is amazing. These are all winners. These are all successful people. I think it may have the fewest lawyers of any cabinet in history.
And the most generals?
And the most generals and the most successful business people. That goes back to sort of Eisenhower's cabinet in the 50s. And the reason I like that is when this team arrives in Washington and they collide with the realities of Washington, this is going to be a meeting of winners. I mean, the team of rivals was the story about Lincoln. This is team of winners. And you're right. I mean, you have a four-star general, Jim Mattis, going back to the Defense Department. You have a four-star general, John Kelly, going to head up Homeland Security. You've got a three-star General Flynn at National Security. But you've also got really successful business people. And you have the longest-serving governor in the history of Texas, who's going to take on the energy challenge you just outlined.
They picked the perfect person, in Rick Perry.
And Rick is going to be he's going to drive energy in America, and that's one of the ways we pay for infrastructure.
Well, the way the Washington Post describes it, and you said you bash the idiots in the propaganda media, you know, she described this election as a bunch of ignoramuses, billionaires, and a few generals. Well,
right.
Is there something wrong with becoming a successful billionaire like Bill Gates? Is there anything wrong with that?
Well, but if you're on the left, there is. I mean, on the left, you want a cabinet of losers. So you can feel sorry for them. I mean, you know, the whole concept, for example, of having a Super Bowl where you have the winning team of the whole season.
Not everybody gets a trophy?
As opposed to, you know, if the left had their way, everybody get a ring. I mean,
yeah.
Did you suit up? Did you care?
Right, did you care? Maybe we have to mail her crayons and coloring books and Play-Doh.
I thought, I can never remember her name because I blocked
Jennifer Rubin.
Yeah, Jennifer Rubin. I actually was quoting Nassim Taleb's article on intellectual yet idiots, which is it's IYI. You can Google it. The audience can Google intellectual yet idiot. And his term of idiot fits her perfect. Jennifer Rubin is the perfect example of what he's writing about, which is a person who can write well and sounds like they know something, but doesn't know anything.
I call them overeducated idiots.
Yeah.
They really are.
I mean, think about the notion this woman sits at the Post.
By the way, National Review, Wall Street Journal, Weekly Standard, they have their share of them.
They do. And it's because they sit around and they render judgment. I first learned about this from the guy who wrote Black Hawk Down, who had written a book on the Philadelphia Eagles. But because he wasn't a sports writer, they all accepted him and talked to him because they were intrigued with what he was writing. Right. He said what he learned is, if you're a pro football player, and you got some 50-year-old guy up there who can't run 20 yards, and he's describing his judgment of your touchdown pass. It's just, you just get angry at the whole idea of who does he think he is?
Yeah.
And that's what she was like. Here's a person, Jennifer Rubin, and I am picking on her directly because she's a pseudo-conservative who masquerades.
Listen, you could add NRO. You could add Bill Kristol. You could add any of these guys.
The idea that she would describe a cabinet which includes a world-class pediatric neurosurgeon, it includes a remarkably successful Secretary of the Treasury. It includes a remarkably successful Secretary of Commerce. It includes, as I said, the longest-serving governor in the history of Texas. I mean, Rick Perry in a good week accomplished more than she has in her history. That now has, I think, the head of the largest corporation in the world. But think about it from the left standpoint. He actually negotiated successfully. In the spirit of Clinton and Kerry, how can you have somebody who's successful?
All right. So you think, just real quick, and we got to break, and then I want you to describe Trumpism. You think, are you confident that everything that I outlined in my opening monologue will happen? Will he get that done?
I think he probably won't. I think the crisis will come 90 days from now when they realize, when it finally hits them, that Washington is that hostile, that difficult, that entrenched, and the swamp ain't going to go away easily.
Oh.
And at that moment, I'm hoping he brings that team of winners together, and they collectively decide, you know what, we're going to win again, and then it'll start rolling.
Then things will move. All right.